Hello, I'm Mr. Pleasant Books. For this book talk, we'll be discussing Forgotten by M R Forbes. This is the story about a generation ship which is being sent to another planet because Earth is dying or something happened that made them have to build generation ships to get off the planet and fly. Now, what a generation ship is, for those who don't know, it's a ship that people aren't put into cryogenic sleep. They live, they're born, live, and die on the ship as different groups until they can reach the planet that's supposed to be safe for them. So this is just a story of kind of a middle generation. I think there's been grandfather, great grandfather. I think there's been 4 or 5 generations on the ship, and there's a sixth one, the youngest. And it's the story of how Sheriff Duke, the protagonist of the story, starts to learn more about the ship and what actually happened on Earth and what's actually happened to the ship. And yeah, it's got aliens, it's got advanced weaponry, it's got yeah, bad guys. It's just a good story. And I think that's all I can say. That's not spoilery. So from here forward, there will be spoilers. All right, bye. Okay, Sheriff Duke. I actually liked this character a lot. I liked his wife as well. The mayor. I kind of even though he turned out to be the bad guy, I still think he's not that bad. He's doing what he thinks is right. He's doing it the wrong way, definitely the wrong way. But with the limited information that he has been given as mayor and ruler of Metro, he's doing what needs to be done. I wish he should have told Sheriff Duke like right off the bat, like as soon as Sheriff Duke became sheriff, should have told him, hey, this is how it's going to go. Because if you don't have the backing of the local police force, you can't enforce things. Then there's no reason, like you see with Sheriff Duke, he had no reason to do what the mayor was saying because it went so far against what he understood, what he understood the ship to be, and why they were doing what flying out like they were flying out. But I still kind of like the mayor. A couple of his deputies, I did not like them. Uh, the other ones I did like. The one who refused to shoot him and ended up being shot. And they don't really give you much story. And then the female deputy, I think she was a good person as well. And so there was good people on the ship. It wasn't just that black and white that you normally have or that I normally read. It was a little more shades of gray, especially with what Sheriff Duke did with cutting off the mayor's hand so he could get the chip. I was surprised that he actually did that. I thought he would just dig it out or something, but no, he was sending a message to the mayor. And then at the end, when he just threw the chip away, he basically condemned everyone in Metro to die in the next 2 generations because they don't have the supplies. Everything's breaking down, and just throwing the chip away. He said that all of those innocents on there, not just the bad guys, but the innocents, he didn't care about them. I felt that was kind of wrong. He should have kept the chip, or maybe not on him, but like hidden it somewhere so that you could protect it. I understand he's trying to find his wife. That's all he cares about, and I absolutely understand that. But he still should have kept the chip, and he's supposed to be the good guy. Uh, the one part I didn't really get is why they locked everything away. I mean, yeah, okay, sure. Don't want people to find out, but you could just erase that stuff. I mean, they did erase that stuff. And so and maybe it was because they realized that they were just lying to the people when they put them in that ship, that they weren't actually taking off to go anywhere. But when you talk to Jenny, the scientist lady, she gives the impression she thinks they're in space too. Would have left the ship open, at least the the way to the engines, so that way they could definitely have power and parts to fix things. Because yeah, they were only supposed to be in there for 300 years, and they're going on almost 400 years. Oh, and then speaking of Jenny, I wanted to just I hated that character so much. And she's there with Sheriff Duke. She sees and hears what these people are saying, and he tells her what they've done. That they've eaten people, that they've killed everyone they come across that they kidnapped his wife. And her response is like, oh, he must not know what he's talking about because he's not a genius like I am. He's not a scientist. Oh, what a god. Oh. And when I found out that she was killed and eaten, all I could think is good. She deserved it. And that's exactly what she deserved, to be killed and eaten by the people who she knew would kill and eat her because Sheriff Duke said they would. And yeah, I was glad she was gone from the book. The pig was an interesting name to give the leader of the crew. Uh, yeah, I guess names change over the years. I still don't know how pig became a good name to give a child or an adult, even as a nickname. Why would he stand for that? Because he's always the strongest and the best weaponry. And he was also hoping to marry his daughter, so he maybe he just wasn't right in the head. Period. But yeah, he turned out. I thought he was going to be a bigger antagonist than he actually was. He died pretty quick and pretty simply. I'm sure. Yeah, the sheriff lost his hand, but I'm. He still killed Duke and all the Xenotrife, and found out that he's on Earth, and saw that there's giant Xenotrife marching everywhere, and he knows his wife is alive. So a hand is a small price to pay for everything that he's learned and been through and understands now. And it's still your hand, and it's gonna suck, but I have a feeling something's gonna be able to give him his hand back. Just from the way the story's going with the advances in the technology, and even with the way that the scrappers, I think they were called, act and looked. Just something tells me he's gonna maybe get a robot hand or a cybernetic hand or something in a later book. It just seems that way. And then I suppose the last thing I'd like to talk about is the Xenotrife themselves. And the way that they came to Earth, that actually is a scary idea that could happen. Maybe it can't happen, but the fact that they came on a meteor, broke up in the atmosphere, and then just populated everywhere, and that that they can grow to be giants, that they can survive on radiation. So our nuclear plants go off, big whoop. They can survive in that radiation. That we drop nuclear bombs on them again, big whoop. They're gonna be fine. And the one that made it into Metro made them seem like they were a lot more deadly and dangerous than the ones outside of Metro. Because that one did a lot of damage and it kind of went all over the place, whereas the ones outside of Metro, he kills and destroys. Maybe it's because he has better weapons. I will say that. He has much better weapons once he leaves Metro than he did while in Metro, but still, the Xenotrifes, they sound bad. And, think aliens, but worse. Kind of bad. Anyways, that's all I want to talk about. I'm Mr. Billin Books. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.